The town of Round Rock, Texas, looked ordinary from the outside: rows of beige houses, identical lawns, American flags fluttering in the hot wind. But for David D.J. Miller, it had always felt like another battlefield. He was a black veteran, 67 years old, with eyes that had seen too much of the world's ugliness to mistake this quiet neighborhood for peace. For 21 years, he served in the U.S. Army, doing tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, leading men through deserts where sandstorms carried death. When he retired, he promised his wife, Lorraine, that their next home would be one of peace. So, when they bought a single-story house at the edge of a gated community in Texas, he built something in the yard, a small stone memorial. It wasn't grand or political. Just two carved soldiers, one lifting the other to safety, with the words beneath, "For those who never made it home." Every morning, he would stand there silently for a few seconds before tending his small garden. It was his ritual, his way of keeping promises to the dead. For nearly 3 years, nobody complained. But peace, DJ would learn, doesn't last long when power meets prejudice. It started with a letter, plain white, tucked between the mail flyers. Notice of violation. Your property contains an unapproved structure in violation of HOA Design Rule 4.3. Remove it within 72 hours or face fines up to $1,500. At first, DJ laughed softly. It had to be a mistake. He called the number printed on the paper. A woman answered, her tone crisp, rehearsed, slightly sweet, like someone who had practiced being polite to people she didn't respect. Homeowners Association, this is Karen Thompson, how can I help? When DJ explained what the monument was, she interrupted. Oh yes, we've received several complaints. Some neighbors feel it's unsettling. He frowned. Unsettling? It's a memorial. Well, Mr. Miller, she said, drawing out the words, it's about community image. We like to keep our neighborhood aesthetically consistent. And, if I may be honest, it looks political. The word hung in the air. Political. A polite disguise for black. It's not political, he said quietly. It's personal. Karen sighed. Rules are rules. Please comply within 72 hours. We wouldn't want any misunderstandings. That last word, misunderstandings, carried weight. The kind of weight DJ had felt all his life in rooms where he was the only black man. He hung up, stared out the window, and saw the neighborhood differently that afternoon, the way people paused a little too long when walking past his yard, the way smiles didn't quite reach their eyes. He'd fought wars overseas. But this was the kind of battle that never made headlines. It didn't take long for whispers to spread. By Saturday, the private HOA Facebook group was already boiling. Screenshots would later show the same names, people who had smiled at DJ in the mornings, typing comments that cut deep. I get it, but rules are rules. We just want the neighborhood to look nice. This isn't about race. He's making it about race. That last line, he's making it about race, appeared again and again. Lorraine stopped checking her phone. Every notification felt like another small betrayal. A few neighbors stood with them, Mr. Alvarez, the retired teacher from down the street, and June, a young mother who'd grown up in a military family. They brought food, words of comfort. But they were outnumbered. Some mornings, DJ would catch neighbors slowing their cars just to take pictures of his yard. Others avoided eye contact altogether. One afternoon, a teenage boy biked by and shouted, "Nice statue, old man. You trying to prove something?" The laughter that followed wasn't cruel, but it wasn't innocent either. DJ felt something he hadn't felt in decades, the quiet burn of humiliation. Behind closed doors, Karen Thompson saw the controversy differently. To her, this wasn't just about a rule, it was about control. And deep down, she didn't like the way DJ Miller stood his ground. There was something in the way he looked at her during meetings, calm, patient, unshaken. That quiet dignity infuriated her. She told the HOA board during a private session, "We can't let this turn into a precedent. If we bend for him, others will expect the same." But one board member, Tom Jenkins, spoke carefully. "Karen, the man's a veteran. Maybe we should handle this differently." Karen's lips tightened. "We treat everyone equally, Tom. I don't care what color his skin is, the rules apply to everyone." Her tone made the words sound noble, but everyone in the room could feel the weight behind them. Later that week, HOA officers visited DJ's home again, this time with a camera crew from a local property management contractor. When DJ stepped outside, Karen was standing there in person, arms folded, sunglasses reflecting the Texas sun. "Mr. Miller," she said, "we're documenting ongoing violations." "Violations of what?" "The design code." He took a slow step forward. "That code didn't build this country. Men like me did." Her jaw tightened. "You people always think rules don't apply to you." The words hung there, sharp, deliberate. Everyone heard them. A neighbor gasped softly. Karen's assistant froze. Even the cameraman lowered his lens. DJ didn't respond. He just looked at her for a long moment, calm, unblinking, then turned and walked back inside. For the rest of the day, the phrase echoed in his head, "You people." He'd heard it in the barracks, at job interviews, in stores. But hearing it here, in the neighborhood he'd chosen for peace, broke something deeper. That night, he opened an old chest in his garage and laid out his military service folder, medals, citations, photos. He looked at the names of friends who had died beside him, most of them men of color. "You people," he whispered. "We built your freedom." The next week, things got uglier. DJ woke one morning to find a red notice taped to his garage door. "Final warning, legal action pending." Underneath, the words "remove the statue" were scribbled in black marker, in handwriting that didn't belong to any official form. Lorraine found him standing there, fists clenched, staring at the sign. "It's not just HOA anymore," she whispered. "Someone came here last night." That same day, a certified letter arrived. It was from a law firm representing the HOA, a notice of intent to place a lien on their property. If they didn't comply, the HOA could legally seize the house. DJ had seen men die for less than this kind of cruelty. He went to the next HOA meeting, uninvited, and walked into the room as Karen was mid-sentence. Every head turned. The crowd was mostly white, neatly dressed, sitting in rows of folding chairs. The kind of crowd that prided itself on civility while choking on prejudice. Karen froze for a second, then forced a smile. "Mr. Miller, this is a closed meeting." "I didn't come for your permission," he said calmly. He set a folder on the table, a folder filled with bills, warning letters, and photos of his monument defaced with spray paint. "This is what you've turned my home into," he said. "A battlefield." Karen crossed her arms. "You're escalating this, Mr. Miller. You could have avoided all this by following the rules like everyone else." "Everyone else," he repeated, voice tightening. "Then tell me, how many other houses have garden statues? How many flags? How many crosses? Why is mine the only one being fined?" A murmur ran through the crowd. Karen opened her mouth but no words came out. Someone at the back whispered, "Because he's black." Silence followed, heavy, undeniable. Karen snapped, "That's enough," but the damage was done. The lie was exposed. The next week, DJ received a formal summons, a public HOA disciplinary hearing. It was supposed to be procedural, but by now the local news had caught wind of the story. By 7 p.m., the community hall was packed, reporters, neighbors, veterans in uniform, even city council members. Outside, protesters held signs. "Respect our veterans. HOA equals harassment of Americans." Karen walked in wearing her red blazer, chin high. She wanted to project confidence, but her hands trembled slightly as she shuffled her notes. DJ entered quietly. No entourage. No lawyer. Just him, and a leather folder under his arm. When his name was called, he stood, walked to the podium, and opened that folder. He placed a stack of papers on the table, official U.S. Army service records, medals, commendations, and a photograph of 12 soldiers standing together in desert heat. 7 of those men never came back, he said. 5 of them looked like me. He paused. The room went still. They taught me that honor isn't given, it's earned. I didn't build that monument to break rules. I built it to remember brothers who didn't get the chance to grow old. Karen tried to interrupt. Mr. Miller, the HOA respects your service, but regulations. He turned to her slowly. You respect the rules more than the people who fought to give you the right to write them. Applause broke out, hesitant at first, then swelling. Reporters leaned forward. Veterans stood. Karen slammed her gavel, shouting, "Order," but her voice was lost in the noise. DJ waited until the room quieted again. Then he read aloud from a letter, a citation of valor issued by the Department of Defense, signed by his commanding officer. The last line read, "For extraordinary courage under fire, Sergeant First Class David Miller is awarded the Silver Star." He set it down gently. "So no, ma'am, I won't take down that statue. Because every name carved into it deserves to stand taller than any rulebook you'll ever hold." Silence. Karen's face flushed red. One board member whispered, "My God, he's a Silver Star." The moment had shifted. The room no longer belonged to the HOA, it belonged to him. The video of the hearing hit the internet like a thunderclap. A reporter had captured the exact moment DJ Miller held up his Silver Star and said, "You respect the rules more than the people who fought for your right to write them." By dawn, it was trending nationwide. #Justice for DJ Miller appeared across social media. Veterans groups, civil rights activists, and even politicians weighed in. A retired colonel tweeted, "This man fought for America twice, once abroad, once at home." Talk shows replayed the footage. Some hosts called it an embarrassment to every HOA in the country. Others called it a modern-day Rosa Parks moment for homeowners' rights. Karen tried to defend herself in interviews, claiming, "It was never about race." But screenshots told another story, old HOA emails where she described the statue as too militant-looking and said it changed the neighborhood's atmosphere. The truth was out. Within a week, the HOA board held an emergency vote. Karen was removed as president, and the fines against DJ were rescinded unanimously. The community issued a formal apology. But justice didn't end there. The Texas state legislature, moved by the case, passed the Veterans Memorial Protection Bill, preventing any homeowners association from penalizing displays honoring military service. It was nicknamed the Miller Act. DJ didn't ask for any of it. But when the governor invited him to the signing ceremony, he stood beside the podium in a modest gray suit, his Silver Star pinned over his heart. When reporters asked him how it felt to change the law, he simply said, "I didn't change anything. I just reminded people what respect looks like." Months passed. The headlines faded, the cameras left, but the monument still stood, quiet, unshaken, eternal. Every Sunday, DJ walked out with a small rag and polished the plaque until it gleamed. Sometimes, children from the neighborhood would stop their bikes to watch him. He'd smile and say, "These aren't just names, kids. They're promises." The HOA rebuilt its image with new leadership. Karen moved away, no forwarding address, no farewell. Her old red blazer was later found donated at a thrift store downtown. As for DJ, he never sought attention again. He went back to his quiet routines, morning coffee, tending roses, reading the paper. But once a year, on Veterans Day, cars lined up down his street. People came from nearby towns, some carrying flags, others just standing in silence before the monument. And there he stood, a tall, proud black man, the Silver Star glinting on his chest, beside 2 stone soldiers who would never grow old. When asked why he still lived in the same neighborhood, he said, "Because peace isn't a place you find. It's a place you build, even if you have to fight for it." They tried to silence a man who fought for their freedom. Instead, he reminded them what freedom truly means: United States. Tieng Viet.